Good morning. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you truly believed in yourself? I'm not talking about a fleeting moment of confidence before a job interview or a sudden burst of courage before asking someone out. I'm talking about a deep, unwavering, unshakable belief in your own potential. The kind of belief that says, no matter what comes my way, I've got this. I was built for this. But I know what you're thinking. It's hard. Life keeps knocking me down. People don't believe in me. I've failed before. I'm not where I want to be. Listen to me. Every champion was once a contender who refused to give up. You were not born to be average. You were born to be great. You've got something inside you that's greater than any obstacle, stronger than any excuse, and more powerful than your past. But first, you've got to believe it. See, belief is a seed. And like any seed, it must be planted, watered, nurtured. Some people don't believe in themselves because they've been told their whole life that they're not good enough. You're too slow. You're not smart. You're too loud. You're too quiet. You're not qualified. Well, let me tell you something. They lied. You are not what they called you. You are not your failures. You are not your mistakes. You are not your past. You are what you choose to become. And you've got to choose to believe even when the evidence isn't there yet. Even when the bank account is low. Even when the door gets slammed in your face. Even when no one claps for you. You've got to be your own cheerleader. Let me paint a picture for you. Imagine a little child learning to walk. She takes a step. She wobbles. She falls. She cries. She gets back up. She takes another step. She falls again. Do we say, well, maybe walking isn't for her? No, we expect her to fall because that's part of the process. Falling is proof that she's trying, that she's growing. But as we get older, we forget that. We fall once and we quit. We get rejected once and we retreat. We make one mistake and we label ourselves a failure. Hear me now. Failure is not the opposite of success. It's part of success. The difference between people who make it and people who don't, it's not talent. It's not connections. It's not luck. It's belief. The ones who rise are the ones who look in the mirror every morning and say, I don't care what happened yesterday. I still believe in me. You see, belief isn't just a feeling. It's a decision. And it's a decision you've got to make every single day. Believe when the world tells you no. Believe when the voice in your head says you can't. Believe when the plan falls apart. Believe when the dream feels distant. Believe when it hurts. Believe anyway. You've got to wake up every day and remind yourself, I've got what it takes. I was made for this. My dream is valid. My purpose is real. My future is waiting, and I'm not going to let doubt steal it from me. Because here's the truth. If you don't believe in you, no one else will. People respond to the energy you carry. When you walk in the room with your head high and your spirit fired up, people take notice. But when you drag your feet, apologize for existing, doubt your voice, people sense that too. Confidence is not arrogance. Confidence is certainty in your assignment. It's knowing you're not here by accident. You're here on purpose, with purpose. Now, I'm not saying it'll be easy. There will be days when your belief gets tested. Days when everything you're working for feels like it's slipping through your fingers. You'll cry, you question, you doubt, but don't stop. Don't you dare stop. Every struggle is shaping you. Every setback is setting you up. Every delay is developing something in you that success will require. Keep going, keep pushing, keep showing up. Even if your hands are shaking and your voice is trembling, show up, speak up, rise up. Because on the other side of fear is freedom. On the other side of doubt is destiny. On the other side of pain is power. So what if they laugh? So what if they leave? So what if they don't get it? It's not their dream, it's yours. It's not their life, it's yours. It's not their future, it's yours. And you only get one shot, one chance, one lifetime. What are you going to do with it? Are you going to spend it hiding behind excuses? Or are you going to rise? Are you going to let fear win? Or are you going to fight for the life you deserve? It starts with a belief that says, I can. A belief that says, I will. A belief that says, watch me. You've got something special in you, something rare, something the world needs. And it's time you stopped hiding it. Look in the mirror and say it until you believe it. I am enough. I am worthy. I am powerful. I believe in me. And when you do that consistently, intentionally, relentlessly, the world has no choice but to believe in you too. Your belief determines your breakthrough. That simple truth is the foundation of everything you want to achieve, become, and experience in life. It's not your background, not your education, not your connections, and not even your talent that determines whether you rise or fall. It's what you believe about yourself when no one is watching, when no one is clapping, and when everything seems to be working against you. Belief is a powerful force. It's invisible, but it shapes every visible outcome in your life. It influences the way you speak, the way you walk, the way you handle pressure, the way you respond to failure. People who believe in themselves approach life differently. They're not afraid to take risks. They're not held back by the fear of judgment or rejection. They may feel fear, yes, but they act anyway because their belief in their purpose is greater than their fear of failure. When you believe in yourself, doors open. Not always immediately and not always in the way you expect, but the belief itself gives you the resilience to keep knocking. Most people give up because they don't believe it's going to happen for them. They say, that's for other people, not for me. They see someone else succeed and think, well, they had support, they had money, they had the right timing. But what they don't realize is that every person who's ever achieved something great at some point had to believe without any evidence. They had to trust a vision that no one else could see. Belief gives birth to action. When you believe you can, you try. When you try, you learn. When you learn, you grow. And when you grow, you become stronger, wiser, and more capable. On the other hand, when you doubt yourself, you hesitate, you overthink, you sabotage opportunities. You say no to doors that were meant to be walked through. You become your own greatest limitation. You can have all the talent in the world, but if you don't believe in it, you'll bury it. You'll downplay it. You'll hide behind false humility or fear of being judged. And that's how dreams die. Not because they weren't possible, but because belief wasn't present to bring them to life. Breakthroughs don't come to the most qualified. They come to the most committed. And commitment is fueled by belief. People who break through barriers are the ones who keep going when it's hard, when it's slow, when no one else believes. Why? Because they've made a decision that says, no matter how long it takes, no matter what it costs, I'm going to see this through. That's not just motivation. That's belief in action. When life puts you in a corner, belief is what helps you fight back. When you fail, belief is what tells you it's not over. When you feel like an imposter, belief reminds you of your purpose. It's not about being delusional or pretending life isn't hard. It's about choosing to focus on what's possible instead of what's painful. The mind is always listening. Whatever you tell yourself, it starts to build around that story. If you say, I'll never make it, your mind goes to work proving that true. If you say, I can do this. Your mind begins searching for reasons, strategies, and solutions. Belief rewires your thinking. It reshapes your identity. And that identity drives everything you don't need everything figured out. You don't need the perfect plan. You just need to believe that the next step is worth taking. And when you take it, despite fear, despite doubt, you prove to yourself that you're capable of more. That single act of courage fuels more belief. And that cycle is what creates unstoppable momentum. Belief doesn't mean you'll never struggle. It means you won't stay down. Doesn't mean you'll never get tired. It means you'll find a reason to keep going. You are not your past. You are your potential. Too many people walk through life carrying the weight of what was instead of stepping into what could be. They define themselves by the mistakes they've made, the failures they've experienced, the heartbreaks they've endured, and the labels others have given them. They wear their history like a name tag, introducing themselves to every new opportunity with an old story. But the truth is, you are not what happened to you. You are not the pain, the shame, or the regret. You are the power to rewrite the next chapter. Your past may have shaped you, but it does not have the authority to define your future. Yes, you've made decisions you wish you could take back. Yes, there are moments you replay in your head, wondering how things might have turned out differently. But living in that loop keeps you stuck. Growth begins when you realize that your past was a lesson, not a life sentence. It was a chapter, not your entire story. Every person you admire, every leader, every innovator, every success story, they all have a past they had to rise above. The difference is they didn't let it become a prison. They made peace with it, learned from it, and then turned their focus toward what they could become. That's the mindset that unlocks potential. Not look at what I've done, but look at what I'm becoming. You see, potential is the seed of greatness that still lives in you, untapped, unexplored, and unlimited. It's the version of you that hasn't yet been seen by the world. It's who you could be if you stopped playing small, stopped shrinking around your insecurities, and stopped letting your past tell you what's possible. Potential is never in the rearview mirror. It's always ahead, calling you forward. You can't become something new while clinging to who you were. You can't step into purpose while replaying past pain. You have to release the old to receive the new. That means forgiving yourself. That means stopping the self-sabotage. That means refusing to be defined by your lowest moments. You are allowed to outgrow the version of yourself that made those mistakes. You are allowed to evolve. There is greatness inside you that pain tried to hide. There are gifts in you that fear tried to silence. There are dreams in you that doubt tried to bury, but they're still there, still waiting, still alive. Potential doesn't expire. It may go dormant, it may be delayed, but it never disappears. It's just waiting on you to believe in it again. Too many people think they have to be perfect to move forward. They wait until they're healed, until they're qualified, until they feel worthy. But progress doesn't require perfection. It requires permission. Permission to try again. Permission to rise again. Permission to grow beyond what broke you. Your past was preparation, not punishment. It gave you strength. It taught you resilience. It showed you what you can survive. Now it's time to use what you've learned to build something better, to step boldly into the version of you that isn't bound by what was, but inspired by what can be. No matter how far off track you feel, potential is always just one decision away, one choice to stop living in the narrative of I'm not enough and start telling a new story. I am capable. I am growing. I am becoming. Your future is not built on your failure. It's built on your faith in yourself, in your purpose, in your potential. You don't need anyone's permission to evolve. You don't need everyone to understand your journey. You just need to trust that there's more in you than the world has seen. And the only thing standing between you and that version of yourself is the decision to let go of the past and reach for your potential. Doubt kills more dreams than failure ever will. Failure is loud, visible, and painful. But doubt is quiet, subtle, and deadly. It doesn't shout. It whispers. It sneaks into your thoughts when you're about to take the leap. It questions your worth when you finally build the courage to believe. It tells you you're not ready, not smart enough, not strong enough, not qualified. And the dangerous thing is that most people listen. Doubt doesn't just hold you back, it convinces you not to even try. It makes you sit on your ideas, hide your gifts, shrink your presence, and water down your dreams. People don't give up because the goal was impossible. They give up because doubt made them believe it was. Doubt is the silent assassin of potential. It talks people out of writing that book, starting that business, pursuing that passion, or speaking their truth. But doubt really steals is time, precious time. Years can go by while someone waits for the perfect moment, waits until they feel confident, waits until the fear goes away. But the truth is, confidence doesn't show up first, action does. Confidence is built in the doing, in the trying, in the falling and getting back up. But doubt convinces you to wait, to stay safe, to not rock the boat. And by the time you realize it, opportunities have passed and the dream has faded. Failure, on the other hand, is a teacher. Failure shows you what doesn't work so you can find out what does. It sharpens you, humbles you, and strengthens you. People who succeed aren't those who never failed. They're the ones who failed, learned, and moved forward. They didn't let doubt stop them before the race even began. They decided to show up, even when it was messy, even when it was scary, even when they felt unqualified. The problem is, most people treat doubt like truth. They assume that because they feel uncertain, it must mean they're not ready. But doubt is not a signal to stop. It's a sign that you're stepping into something new. Growth is uncomfortable. Progress feels unfamiliar. If you only act when you feel 100% sure, you'll miss 100% of the life that's waiting beyond your comfort zone. You have to learn how to recognize doubt for what it is. A test of how bad you want it, how deeply you believe in your purpose, how committed you are to your growth. Everyone feels it. Every speaker before the stage, every artist before the canvas, every entrepreneur before the launch. But the difference between the ones who make it and the ones who don't is this. Some feel the doubt and move forward anyway. The dream is still possible. The door is still open, but you have to walk through it. You have to believe that your voice matters, that your vision is valid, that your journey has meaning. Doubt will tell you that you're not ready, but readiness isn't the requirement. Willingness is. Willingness to begin, willingness to be imperfect, willingness to fall and rise again. Every time you listen to doubt, you silence your own greatness. Every time you believe those limiting thoughts, you agree to a smaller version of your life. But every time you take action in spite of doubt, you weaken its grip. You train your mind to follow courage, not fear. And slowly, step by step, you become the kind of person who doesn't just dream, but does. The tragedy is not in failing. The tragedy is in never starting. Not because you weren't capable, but because you didn't believe you were. Doubt wants to keep you safe, but greatness doesn't live in safety. It lives in risk, in motion, in bold decisions made with trembling hands and a fierce heart. Confidence is built by consistent courage. It's not something you're born with or something that magically appears one day. Confidence grows every time you do the thing you were afraid to do. It's built moment by moment, choice by choice, action by action. It's not loud or flashy at first. It starts quietly with the decision to stand up when you feel like sitting down, to speak up when everything in you wants to run. Most people wait to feel confident before they move, but it works the other way around. You have to move while you're still uncertain. You have to act while the doubt is still in your head and the fear is still in your chest. Courage isn't the absence of fear. It's choosing to act in spite of it. And every time you do, your confidence muscle gets stronger. Think about it like building strength in the gym. One workout doesn't make you fit. It's the repetition, the consistency, the daily decision to push beyond your comfort zone that brings the change. Confidence works the same way. You won't wake up one day suddenly fearless, but you will wake up one day realizing that the things that used to scare you now feel smaller. That's not because the fear disappeared. It's because you grew. Courage doesn't always feel like a roar. Sometimes it's just a whisper that says, try again. Sometimes it's getting up one more time after being knocked down. Sometimes it's walking into the room where you feel like the least experienced person and deciding to stay anyway. That's where confidence is born. In the uncomfortable, in the uncertain, in the places where you stretch beyond what you thought was possible for you. You can read all the books, listen to all the talks, gather all the information, but if you don't take action, none of it becomes real. Information doesn't create confidence. Implementation does. You have to do the thing, even if it's messy, even if it's small, even if your hands shake and your voice trembles. Because courage is a decision, not a feeling. And consistent courage is what eventually rewires your identity. Over time, you begin to see yourself differently. You stop identifying with your fear and start identifying with your strength. You stop saying, I'm not the kind of person who can, and start saying, I'm becoming the kind of person who does. That shift is everything. That shift is where you begin to unlock the life that once felt out of reach. Confidence doesn't come from praise. It doesn't come from applause. It comes from proof. The proof you give yourself every time you do what once scared you. Every time you keep a promise to yourself. Every time you show up fully, even when it would be easier to hide. That inner record builds, and with it, your belief in yourself. You don't need to take giant leaps. You just need to be brave in small ways every single day. Say the thing. Ask the question. Take the step. Courage compounds. And the more you practice it, the more natural it becomes. Soon you're doing things you never imagined you'd have the strength to do. Not because the fear is gone, but because your capacity has expanded. Confidence doesn't mean you always know what you're doing. It means you trust yourself to figure it out. It means you believe that you can handle what comes. That belief doesn't arrive by waiting. It arrives by doing. And the doing starts with courage. Not once, not occasionally, but consistently. If you don't believe in you, no one else truly will. The world reflects what you project. People take their cue from how you carry yourself, how you speak about your dreams, how you walk into a room. If you show up unsure, hesitant, apologizing for your presence, then don't be surprised when others treat you like you don't belong. But when you believe in your worth, even before anyone else sees it, you send a message that you're not asking for permission. You're owning your space. Belief in yourself is not arrogance, and it's not pretending to have all the answers. It's having a deep knowing that you were created with purpose, that what you have inside you matters, and that you don't need outside validation to prove it. People can sense it. They can feel the difference between someone faking confidence and someone grounded in who they are. Real belief doesn't scream, it radiates. You set the tone for how others treat you by how you treat yourself. You keep second guessing your choices, downplaying your wins, hiding your talents. People will follow your lead. But when you speak your truth, own your story, and walk in your gift without shrinking, people pay attention. You teach them how to see you by how you show up. The problem is, too many people are waiting to be believed in before they believe in themselves. They want the audience before they build the voice. They want the support before they build the strength. But it doesn't work like that. The belief has to start with you. Even if it's quiet, even if it's small, even if you're the only one who sees the vision right now, especially then, because when no one's clapping, when no one understands, when you're building in the dark, that's where real belief is tested and proven. That's when you decide whether this dream is just a wish or a calling you refuse to let go of. People are drawn to conviction. They're drawn to someone who moves with purpose, who speaks with clarity, who shows up with fire. You don't have to be the loudest in the room, but if you carry the energy of, I know why I'm here, people will notice. That energy comes from belief, not belief in a flawless version of yourself, but belief in a growing version of yourself. The one who's willing to do the work, take the hits, stay the course. It's not about proving anything to anyone. It's about not needing to. When you stop needing approval, you start moving in alignment. You stop chasing acceptance and start attracting opportunity. And that shift happens when you stop questioning whether you're enough and start deciding that you are. You don't need everyone to see it. You just need to be the first one who does. That belief becomes the standard for your actions. It's what makes you show up to the meeting prepared, even if you're nervous. It's what makes you start the project, pitch the idea, walk away from what no longer serves you, because you've decided that you are worthy of more, capable of more, and ready for more. If you don't believe in you, the world will offer you a watered-down version of your life. It will feed you limitations, distractions, and fears. But when you believe in yourself, you disrupt that narrative. You demand more from yourself and expect more from life. That belief becomes the foundation you build everything on, not because you have all the answers, but because you know you keep showing up until you find them. Believing in yourself isn't about being fearless. It's about being faithful to the vision, to the growth, to the process. It's about standing firm when everything around you says, give up. And every time you do, you become stronger, clearer, bolder. You stop waiting for someone to hand you the mic and you pick it up yourself.